Yo, 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 it's Cinderella. So, what up? Today we're going to shorten this sweater. All we have to do is cut off the bottom piece and then sew it in place so it doesn't fray. So this is what it looks like when it's all done. The first thing you want to decide is how much you're going to take off the bottom, and you want to leave yourself some extra length because you are going to be folding it under when you sew. Now we will take the front center of the sweater, line it up straight, and then we're going to fold it on its side like this. And now we're going to cut like this. This makes sure that the sweater looks even on both sides. And I do like to cut my sweaters a little higher in the back. I just find it really flattering. So once you know your fabric's even all along the bottom, smooth it out, make sure there's no wrinkles for when you cut. And you're going to take a good pair of fabric scissors, and don't be scared. You can just start cutting right into the fabric, going in a straight line, or you're just cutting all the way across until you're at the back. And then you want to cut nice and straight so there's no peak. So this is nice fabric that we can do something with, so I'll save that for later. Here's that raw edge of fabric. You can see that this would start to fray if we didn't sew it, but we will sew it. So all you need is a needle and some thread. So I pull out the thread generally about as long as my arm, and then I like to cut it on an angle like that. Then you're going to put the thread through that tiny hole in the needle and then pull the thread so that the ends meet at the bottom. And then you can smooth it out with your fingers. And we're going to be sewing with double thread. So we have the rough hem here. We're going to fold it over once and then twice. Keep it from fraying. And we're just going to sew that in place. So we will start at the very end, and you'll go in through the fabric with your needle. It's going through all 3 layers of the fabric right here. Pulling your needle, and don't let the thread go all the way through. You want to leave a little bit hanging out, and then you'll go back through that same spot you just went, pull this into a loop, and then put your needle through that loop and pull it shut. And that will create a knot that keeps this in place. We're going to do that twice or even 3 times to make a really nice, secure knot. And you can sew all along this little fold, making those knots nice and secure. As you sew, you're just going to make sure that fabric is rolled over twice, and then it's pretty easy. You'll just go in through one side of fabric and out through the hem. And we're going to do this all along the hem. So we'll go down through the bottom fabric, out through the top fabric, and you can keep doing that all along the sweater. Every now and then you will have to roll the fabric again, and then you'll want to do a knot, just going back out a hole you've already gone out or close to, and putting your needle through the loop, pulling it tight, and it's knotted. So we're going to do this all along the bottom of the sweater. Through the bottom, out through the top. When you start to get low on thread, all we need to do is a couple knots, and then we can cut off and rethread our needle. So we'll go down and out through the same hole, through the loop, and pull it tight. Again, come out through the same hole. You can put your needle backwards through that loop if you're running low on thread. Pull it tight, and when you've done this 2 or 3 times, all we will need to do is cut off our thread and thread a new needle. So we can cut this off and just add more thread to our needle. And now we're just starting over again, folding the fabric down, going in through the bottom, out through the top, not pulling it all the way through because we're going to do 2 or 3 knots to start off with, making that loop, putting it through the loop, and pulling it tight. I'll do it 3 times here. Pull it tight, and now we can continue sewing all along the bottom. When you get to a side hem of the sweater, that's a good place to make sure it lines up nice, to make sure that you're sewing it straight. So when you roll it, you just want to make sure that hem is in line, and then you can really do a couple knots there to secure it in place. So this is just a good guideline that you're not sewing it completely crooked. Do a couple knots, and then you can keep rolling and sewing. So we're almost done, and at the other side, We're just going to keep doing our stitches until we get all the way to the other end. And here we are. We're going to make a bunch of knots, making it nice and secure through the bottom fabric, through the rolled hem, lots and lots of knots, right to the very end of all these hems together. You can see where we've rolled it, and we'll just sew that shut with our knots. So we're all the way at the end. We've done several knots over here to secure it in place. I'll just do one more, and now we can cut off our thread, just like that. And now we're all done. So we have this nice custom length sweater, a little higher at the back, shortened just to where you want it on your waist. So now I'm going to wear the sweater a lot more. Thank you so much for watching Cinderella Sew, and I'll see you soon. Peace.